Currently, on August 16th in 1841, President John Tyler, our nation's 10th president, vetoes a second attempt by Congress to reestablish the Bank of the United States. In response, angry supporters of the bank gathered outside the White House and burned an effigy of Tyler. The protesters were comprised primarily of members of Tyler's own political party, the Whigs, who dominated Congress at the time. The first federal U.S. bank, created by Alexander Hamilton and set into place by George Washington in 1791, provided a repository for federal funds and issued currency. However, beginning with President Thomas Jefferson, who opposed the idea of a national bank as unconstitutional, anti-federalists in Congress chipped away at the bank's power and importance. In 1811, our nation's fourth president, James Madison, and Congress let the bank's charter expire. Although a second Bank of the United States was implemented in 1819 during James Monroe's, our fifth president's presidency, successive attempts by different Congress to recharter the second bank were denied by our seventh president, Andrew Jackson, in 1832, and our eighth president, Martin Van Buren, in 1837. Tyler, as a senator during Jackson's tenure, had originally condemned Jackson's attempt to nullify the bank as an abuse of executive power. However, as president in 1841, President Tyler, faced with a U.S. economy plagued by wildly fluctuating currency valuation and bank fraud, made an about-face and betrayed the Whigs, declaring the U.S. bank a threat to individual states' rights. When word of the veto spread, the bank's congressional supporters flew into a collective rage and stormed out of the Capitol towards the White House. The rioters hurled stones at the White House, shot guns into the air, and hung an effigy of the president that they then set on fire. The protest is considered one of, if not the most violent demonstration held near the White House. As a result of the unrest, the District of Columbia decided to create its own police force. On August 16th in the year 1896, while salmon fishing near the Klondike River in Canada's Yukon Territory, George Carmack reportedly spots nuggets of gold in a creek bed. His lucky discovery sparks the last great gold rush in the American West. Hoping to cash in on reported gold strikes in Alaska, Carmack had traveled there from California in 1881. After running into a dead end, he headed north into the isolated Yukon Territory, just across the Canadian border. In 1896, another prospector, Robert Henderson, told Carmack of finding gold in a tributary of the Klondike River. Carmack headed to the region with two Native American companions, known as Skookum Jim and Tagish Charlie. On August 16th, while camping near Rabbit Creek, Carmack reportedly spotted a nugget of gold jutting out from the creek bank. His two companions later agreed that Skookum Jim, Carmack's brother-in-law, actually made the discovery. Regardless of who spotted the gold first, the three men soon found that the rock near the creek bed was thick with gold deposits. They staked their claim the following day. News of the gold strike spread fast across Canada and the United States. Over the next 2 years, as many as 50,000 would-be miners arrived in the region. Rabbit Creek was renamed Bonanza, and even more gold was discovered in another Klondike tributary dubbed El Dorado. Klondike fever reached its height in the United States in mid-July 1897 when two steamships arrived from the Yukon in San Francisco and Seattle, bringing a total of more than 2 tons of gold. Thousands of eager young men brought elaborate Yukon outfits, kits assembled by clever marketers containing food, clothing, tools, and other necessary equipment, and set out on their way north. Few of these would find what they were looking for, as most of the land in the region had already been claimed. One of the unsuccessful gold seekers was 21-year-old Jack London, whose short stories based on his Klondike experience became his first book, The Son of the Wolf, in 1900. For his part, Cormac became rich off his discovery, leaving the Yukon with $1 million worth of gold. Many individual gold miners in the Klondike eventually sold their stakes to mining companies who had the resources and machinery to access more gold. Large-scale gold mining in the Yukon Territory didn't end until 1966, and by that time the region had yielded some $250 million in gold. Today, some 200 small gold mines still operate in the region. It was on August 16th in 1967 that our nation's 36th president, President Lyndon B. Johnson, his broad interpretation of the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution is attacked in the Senate Foreign Relations Subcommittee by the chairman, Senator William Fulbright of Arkansas. Senator Fulbright of Arkansas felt that Johnson had no mandate to conduct war on the present scale. The Gulf of Tonkin Resolution authorized President Lyndon Johnson to take all necessary measures to repel any armed attack against the forces of the United States and to prevent any further aggression by the Communist government of North Vietnam. It was passed on August 7th in 1964 by the U.S. Congress after an alleged attack on two U.S. naval destroyers stationed off the coast of Vietnam. The Gulf of Tonkin Resolution effectively launched America's full-scale involvement in the Vietnam War. The historic information divulged and documented on this audio file can be verified on History.com.